Hey guys, I've got some advice for you going into Escape from Duckov, and I just want to make sure you guys get the best start, especially because the game can be very overwhelming for someone who hasn't actually played Tarkov. So, first of all, when you're going throughout the game, you're going to find these things called blueprints. Now, obviously, in most games, blueprints mean you unlock a craftable item. Now, that is true in this game as well, as you'll unlock a crafting station. However, when you actually approach the crafting station, most people will just spam F. If you don't spam F to access it, you'll see that there are multiple options, including research blueprints. Now, when you find a blueprint, you can then scroll down to this option, throw a blueprint into that option, and then you can then open and technically research it, which will then let you craft the item. Now, another thing that most people need to know is that this game is all about exploring, finding enemies, and mainly collecting loot. And you're going to notice that your inventory has a certain amount of slots that you can store things in, which at the start of the game is a very small amount. You will be able to actually get upgrades to improve this, but you can also find equipment like backpacks, so you want to find the bags as quick as possible. There are multiple different bags in the game, each one offers different capacity, so you want to make sure you're finding as many bags as you can very early on, and then using whichever one is biggest, because that means you can carry around as much loot as possible. While we're on the topic of equipment, you also want to get armor as soon as possible. You'll be able to build the weapon shop very early on, and at the weapon shop, you can then buy like headgear, body armor, and a bag even as well. You want to make sure you're not always buying from the vending machine, because the vending machine is just a very expensive way to access things early. But then once you start to build up your base and unlock different stores, you'll be able to find certain items for cheaper, especially body armor, helmets, and the bag. You can find these very cheaply at the weapon store instead of buying them straight up from the vending machine. Now, another thing that most people won't realize, but the game does kind of tell you, but it's very easy to skim over, is that when you're in fights, you can actually bleed out. Now, if you take certain damage, you'll notice that every now and then your character will continue to bleed. You'll have aspirin and bandages that are accessible to you very early on. The aspirin is great for healing, but it will not stop the bleeding. To stop the bleeding, you will need to use a bandage, and what you'll notice is the bandages heal less than the aspirin do, but they do stop bleeding. So you'll use a bandage to quickly stop the bleeding, and then you'll use an aspirin to heal, depending on how much you need to heal. Now, if you are running low on hydration, because it seems like energy goes down really slowly compared to your hydration, you're going to want to drink some water or anything that gives you hydration. If you hover over the item, it will tell you how much energy it gives you and how much hydration it gives you. Just be aware that some food will give you hydration, but some food will also take hydration, so you need to be very careful about what you're eating. And then at the same time, if you are running out of money, because water in the vending machines can be very expensive, you want to look for cocoa milk, because that is really cheap but gives you a bit of energy and hydration, so it's a really good starting item instead of just going for water, which can be an expensive option. Another thing with items, they will say if they're needed, which is really nice. As one issue from games like Escape from Tarkov is you have all these items, and you don't know which one to keep and which one to sell or get rid of, because you have a limited inventory space, you have a limited storage space. You want to make sure you have items that are actually useful to you. Escape from Duckov is very good for this, because it will actually show you a little green screwdriver and spanner if it's going to be used for construction for your base currently, or it will show an exclamation mark for quests. It's just a really nice feature that some of you might miss without realizing that the game does that, but it is a really helpful feature. Now, again, there is also a secret NPC near the start of the game. If you go to the radio tower on the right, which you'll actually visit during a quest, there's a house slightly north of that radio tower. Inside that house is a duck called Mud. He will send you on free quests for different food items and some cigarettes, and once you complete that, you will then want to move into the base, which means you have to build a gym. This is a great way to unlock a quest handler in the base, and also a way to upgrade your character's stamina. So just be aware, you will be able to find other NPCs out there in the wild as well. Now, when you're out on your first couple of adventures, you'll find a lot of wood. Make sure you have at least like 2 to 4 planks of wood, because there are certain areas where the bridges need constructing. Each bridge so far seems like it needs 2 pieces of wood, so make sure you have some wood on you at all times when exploring until you have fixed those bridges. You'll also find some walls with some cracks in them. You can end up blowing these up and gaining access to new areas, including the portal that will take you to the other side of the map. Now, talking about secret areas, there are some areas that are actually hidden. The first one you might come across is near that radio tower that you had to fix. If you go to the right, you'll see that there's like a foresty section of a cave. You can actually enter there and find a data box, which is really cool. It's a nice hidden thing, and it also kind of makes you aware that there are hidden areas like this in the game. Now, my last bit of advice for you is to expand your storage. Again, if you're hovering over your storage or go to access your storage, most of you are just going to click F to enter your storage. Don't do that just yet. Use your mouse wheel to scroll down, and there's an option to expand your storage. You'll be able to see that you can expand your in-base storage a lot during your progress in the game, and it's going to help you a ton. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I just thought I'd put this together with some advice I've noticed and I think some of you might miss while playing through the game, especially early on, since it can be a little bit unplayer friendly. But I hope this video did help you in any way, and if there's anything I didn't mention and you think new players will love the advice, feel free to tell me in the comment section below, and I'll see you again in the next one.